talk about Thor Love and Thunder. As expected from a Thor movie, this movie was an absolute blast, about the same level as Thor Ragnarok, or in my opinion, it's actually a little better than Thor Ragnarok, but they're pretty much the same. And this movie was just really fun and exciting to watch, with crazy visuals, CGI effects, and all that. I mean, the story of this movie, the trailer kind of led us to believe that it's a self-realization journey for Thor, and I mean, in a sense, I guess it kinda is. But it doesn't really feel like one in a traditional sense or anything like that. And it doesn't feel like one for the most part. Maybe on a more deeper level, it might be a self-realization journey. But more than that, this movie just literally feels like the title says, a movie about love and relationships. And more so than the relationship between Thor, Jane, Valkyrie, and those characters, my favorite relationship in this movie is the relationship between Thor and Mjolnir, and Thor and Stormbreaker. Yes! Thor's relationships with his hammers are absolutely hilarious and funny to watch for sure. And I mean, aside from that, the movie is pretty straightforward, with Gorr the God Butcher coming to kill all the gods, and Thor being the one who has to stop him. Kind of a straightforward story, honestly. And I mean, I really enjoyed Gorr as a villain. Like, he seems like like, the movie literally starts out by introducing Gorr and his past, and it is literally sad. Like, you really feel bad, and the first gods he kills, you kind of feel like, yeah, you feel like, yeah, go Gorr, I'm rooting for you here. But then as the movie progresses, like, you understand, Gorr isn't a bad guy. It's not necessarily him. He was angry at his god, and his god kind of deserved what came towards him. But after that, like, he's seen so many good gods actually caring for their people, but he still decides to slaughter them. And I personally believe it's because he's cursed by the Necro Sword, and the Necro Sword is corrupting his mind. And I don't really think Gorr is much of a bad guy in essence. And I mean, Gorr was pretty great as a villain. His character's look is absolutely terrifying. His voice was a little creepy. He's a complete creep of a villain. It's scary, it's terrifying. He is a good villain, though the only issue with him that I see is that during all the fights, he sort of seems to rely more on his shadow creatures that he summons. And I mean, his shadow creatures are pretty powerful, and Gorr is pretty powerful himself. Though in the movie, it kind of reflects him to be weak. Because, I mean, in all the fight scenes in this movie, what we're seeing is Thor going badass. The Thor fight scenes are crazy, but, like, the entire fight scene is literally Thor going crazy with the lightning, using his hammers, and creating huge lightning effects. And yeah, we love that. Those are hype moments with the music, the banger soundtrack. It's all hype and hype and hype. You love to see it. But then when you come down to seeing the fight scenes, it's like, just lightning again. It's not really that crazy a fight scene. It's just crazy CGI that consists of the entire fight scene, hiding the fact that there's no real fight, and it just makes Gorr look really weak at the end of it. So I mean, yeah, Gorr, just like, as great as a villain as he seems, he just does feel really weak, even though he's depicted to be really strong. And I mean, aside from that, the CGI and visual effects here are crazy. There are a ton of hype moments in this movie that, if you go on opening days, like the Thursday and Friday of release, you will be screaming and cheering with the audience, because there are so many hype moments. There are so many hilarious moments. Like, literally every scene will make you laugh in this movie. There are so many funny moments, so many crazy moments. There's even so many jokes. There are so many jokes throughout this movie. You can't help but laugh and have a great time. There's so many jokes relating to other Marvel characters. There's so many jokes relating to real life stuff, which I'm going to let you enjoy with the movie. It's just a really fun, enjoyable movie. It's really funny. You will have a great time watching this for sure. If this is your first Thor movie, you might not understand some of the past stuff in this movie, but you will have a great time watching it. One thing I didn't expect I would enjoy was Jane's return. I mean, I always liked Jane in the first two movies, but then after she broke up with Thor, I kind of fell off with her. But like, in this movie, we got a flashback and saw why they broke up, and that's just really sad to see, and you really connect with Jane once again. I started loving her again. I didn't like her at the start when she gained her powers, but once I found out why she got her powers, aside from her being worthy, I was really heart touched by it, and it was just a really heartwarming moment. Seeing Jane with the powers was great. She has a ton of hype moments herself. There's a really fun scenario throughout this entire movie where Jane, being a human, getting a god's power, of course she wants to have her own catchphrase, and watching her catchphrase evolve throughout the movie is just absolutely hilarious. Though I hope we get to find out what her real catchphrase is, or final catchphrase is, soon. And personally, this movie really made me fall in love with Jane's character all over again, and I love her once again. She was great. Natalie Portman was great as Jane. The acting performance in this movie were crazy. Korg, he is a goat. Like, there is a moment in this movie where there are multiple moments in this movie where you might actually cry. I cried a little in this movie, but Korg, he's a great character. I love him. Yeah, there's a happy end to him in this movie for sure. There are so many moments in this movie that will drive you to tears, drive you to laughter, drive you to going like, woo! There are so many moments in this movie that get you excited, hyped. So much about the story is great. This movie does feel like it's lacking something, especially since Loki, this is the first Thor movie without Loki at all. And I mean, it was kind of nice to see Thor have a lot of Loki tribute in this movie. So that was just really cute and heartwarming to see. There are plenty of hype moments in this movie with various introductions of multiple characters. Some characters get taken in ways you did not expect. During this trailer, I thought Zeus's character was going to be great. I loved him. I didn't want to see him die. And I thought I was going to really love Zeus. And although Zeus seems like a good character, I really don't like Zeus at all. And there are other characters that were introduced that I don't know how I feel about just yet, but I hope we get to see them in the future as well. There are 2 post-credit scenes in this movie, so be sure to stay for both. One's in the middle of the credits and one's at the very end. And then we also got confirmation that there will be a Thor 5, or not Thor 5, but Thor will return. So that is crazy. So that is crazy to hear. I can't wait. The ending of this movie is beautiful. I really loved it. Though I feel like some people might hate it, but I personally really liked it. And it all comes down to understanding that I never thought Gorr was a true villain, in a sense. Aside from that, like, apparently there's rumors going around that apparently Thor was supposed to have 2 hours more of footage with various sequences and stuff that were cut. So a 4-hour movie got turned into a 2-hour movie. Personally, I say they should have released the extra 2 hours with the movie. I think this movie was missing a lot. And it felt like it felt good pace, but it did feel like it was missing a lot aside from Loki, like plot wise. And I feel like many of these action scenes might have been, or sequences that they're talking about that were cut, might have been more full in the sense that we might have seen Gorr more in action, or there might have been more crazy fights that are less visual effects related, or maybe full heavy visual effects related, but also crazily choreographed for the fights. I don't know, but like, I hope when they release it on Blu-ray, these 2 hours of footage will be released as well, or that they do an extended cut release for the 4-hour film, because I think I really want to watch it, because this movie is well paced. It was well timed. Everything about this movie was great, though I did feel like something was missing. So I would like to see the rest of this film to see if it should have been in the movie or not, and I think I will like it regardless, because if there's 2 hours more footage, it means that we'll be laughing for another 2 hours, and I don't mind that at all. That sounds like an absolute blast. So yeah, I really love this movie. It is pretty immersive. It is indefinitely rewatchable. I will be rewatching it really soon. I cannot wait to rewatch it. This movie was great. It is fun to watch. I rate it an 83%. I loved it. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of this movie. I personally loved it. Let me know what you think of Thor, with Jane getting powers, Valkyrie, Zeus, and all the other new characters that are introduced into this movie. The goats, Korg. What did you think of this movie? Let me know down in the comment section below. And with that, that is all I have for you guys today. So don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button for more movie, show, and anime related content. I'm VT, the King of TV, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!